One of the things that we think about a lot is the digital intersection and the human element, because the restaurants that really want to deliver a great experience really want that personal connection with the guest, and you can lose that sometimes with technology.
The ICR Consumer Conference kicked off in Orlando this week, and the NYSE is sitting down with industry leaders. Joining me now is Rhonda Levene. She's the CEO of Ziosk. Rhonda, welcome.
Well, thank you, Ashley. Great to be here.
So what is Ziosk?
What is Ziosk? Okay, Ziosk is a tablet on the table in restaurants and hospitality that allows guests to interact with it, whether they want to order or pay or play games. Allows the restaurant to promote the latest margarita of the month that they have for you, and really creates a better experience for the guest, and it's an assistant for the wait staff.
And speaking of the latest margarita of the month, one of your clients is Chili's. You also work with the Olive Garden, Texas Roadhouse. What problem are you solving for these collaborators?
So first of all, they're great partners. We love working with those brands and many others to bring a better experience to the table. And we help solve wait staff, it's a lot on their plate to do, a lot of tables to take care of. So how do they take care of those tables more efficiently and get to that guest in a timely manner? So we help save time. We most certainly give the guest the gift of time. So we call it a pay on demand. So the guests can decide when they're ready for their experience to end, and they don't have to flag down a waiter to pay. They can also use it to sign in for loyalty. They can use it to complete a survey. And do you know that over 50% of the guests at the table actually complete surveys, which is a very high percentage of feedback that then the operator can use to hone their brand.
What is the feedback that you're getting from both the restaurants and the consumers?
We get all types of feedback. We get feedback on a lot on the wait staff. It's really amazing. Guests really appreciate great service, and so there's a lot of specific feedback around the wait staff. And I had a great experience today. I loved your latest, entree. If there's something a little bit off about the brand, they said, "Oh, it wasn't as fast this time," or the rest of the food wasn't as hot as it was in the past. Those types of insights and allow the restaurant to say, "Let me go address that and make sure that guest has a better experience the next time they come."
And how can the wait staff know that the client has paid if they're paying on this tablet?
Oh, that's a really good question, because there's a lot of solutions out there where they don't know. They actually have to go back to the POS terminal, usually in the back of the restaurant, to check. We have a little light on the tablet that's on the table that lights up and turns green, so the waiter can see it from anywhere in the restaurant, that when the guests get up to leave, that the tab has been closed out.
And Rhonda, when you are working with new restaurant partners, what is the first thing that Ziosk addresses?
Well, the first thing that we're addressing, and usually why the brands are talking to us, is they said, look, we want to create a better experience for our guests. We want to help our wait staff be really effective and efficient, and so we solve operational challenges for them. We improve the experience at the table, and what they have found in the surveys and feedback that comes from the Ziosk, they found that the guest actually validates it's been a better experience for me. I was ready to go. I could leave when I was ready to go. And they actually have positive feedback for the wait staff as well. So the wait staff that really effectively use the Ziosk as their partner and their assistant in the restaurant tends to be very effective for the guest.
And the restaurant industry did see some challenges in 2025. How is Ziosk helping companies navigate the headwinds?
It's really interesting. One of the things that we think about a lot is the digital intersection and the human element, because the restaurants that really want to deliver a great experience really want that personal connection with the guest, and you can lose that sometimes with technology. So how can we create that right blend of digital and human element, and blend those in a way where the guest feels like it was seamless, it was frictionless, it was a great experience, it was memorable even. And so that's where we're working on making sure that the technology does just that.
And that's really interesting what you say. Can you hone in on that? How are you ensuring that there is still a human touch with your digital products?
So we work with each of the brands, because the brands want to have a little bit of different message about their own experience. And so we work with them on how they want to train the waitstaff, how they want to interact with the Ziosk, how they want to use the Ziosk. So the Ziosk experience can be curated based on what the restaurant wants to do. So you'll see different experiences on the Ziosk, whether you're at a Texas Roadhouse or a Chili's or an Olive Garden, and how they adopt the technology and what that platform delivers for them in that moment. So it really is unique to each operator. And what I would say is we try to make sure that we're in the background and we're not on the forefront of creating more noise in the restaurant, because there's a lot of noise in the restaurant already.
And what is next for Ziosk?
I would tell you, and I'm going to say this and you've heard it a million times, we have an incredible amount of data that we get collected, with over 50% of the guests providing responses to our survey questions. What do we do with that? You can get piles of data, you can get reports, which is information. How do you take that information and make it real, make it actionable, make it intelligent, and then most certainly do it in real time? So imagine a time where we actually can help the restaurant know the guest at the beginning of the journey, not at the end of the journey. So they can create something that's more personalized to that guest in that moment. And then most certainly take all that feedback that they get and use it as a way to send real-time alerts, whether it's to the manager or to the waitstaff. You know, it might be a good time to go back and check on table 5. It's been 5 minutes. Or giving them insights into the last time they ordered that entree, the guest complimented it with something else. How do you make that suggestion? So whether it's suggestive selling, whether it's alerts about it's time to do something, and you can do that by taking that data and moving it into something that becomes more like we call a real-time alert.
And do you think, especially that point you made about the Ziosk telling you when to check on a customer, especially with the labor shortages in the service industry right now, do you think that helps support a better customer experience by helping the actual human, alerting them to what the customer needs?
Oh, absolutely do. I mean, you know that any experience that you've had as a consumer, someone who feels like they're not hovering, but they're very attentive, right? Of, wow, I didn't even have to ask for that. They thought of that for me. They were one step ahead of me, and they're thinking about me personally and my experience I'm having, and not 12 other people, even though they're able to navigate that in a way that's very, very smooth, and the guest feels touched.
All right, Rhonda Levene, CEO of Ziosk, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ashley. Really appreciate it.